Tribe, welcome to Howling After Dark. So, for those that may not have heard last night, for those I sent links and stuff, you have no excuse. Just kidding. But for those that didn't hear last night, I did a live EVP show, and during the live EVP show, I actually downloaded a new app from Big Bird Studio, the SV2. And let me tell you, it's kind of awesome. It's got a lot more control on it. For starters, how do I put this? The old SV1 only had two channels, A and B. You had no control over the sweep rate. And it was good for its time. SV2 is far superior. It's you have pretty much full control over the sweep rate. You have 4 channels. You can set them to be on all at the same time, or have them swept through randomly. Which, if you use that setting, actually reduces the chances of whatever being picked up from radio waves. So a lot less chance of getting like radio station blips and shit of that nature. And so tonight I decided also yeah, that's fucking good. Sorry. To do a little experimentation. For those that know me, that have investigated with me for a while, you know my stance on investigating under the influence. Tonight, for my listeners, I am about to break my own rule. Now, this is a one and done thing. This is not something I'm going to do all the time. I'm not a Puritan or a teetotaler by any stretch of the imagination. I don't drink a lot. Every once in a blue moon, really. But I never drink on an investigation, so tonight is going to be a little different. So, without further ado, let's get it going. your name? Nacho. It's okay, Bubba. I know. It's all right. Is someone messing with my dog? Alright, I heard some stuff come through. And I'm not entirely sure if I heard this right, but when I asked, is someone messing with my dog, I thought I heard someone say, fuck that dog. And whoever that person is can get right the fuck out of my house right now. Because I don't tolerate that shit. I mean it right now. Trust me, kid, I'm not the one you want to fuck with. Out the fucking house now. Thank you. Alright. That's part of the reason I paused. The other part is, those that listened last night will know, I also try and keep the session short for a multitude of reasons. One is which you don't want to overwhelm the spirits, because it actually, in my opinion, my theory, it costs them energy to be able to do this. And you don't want to wear them out too fast. Secondly, I've read and heard and been told that if your sessions are too long, it can actually fill your data if you're recording to the point where nothing on your phone will work, which I've actually experienced before myself. I'm not actually recording tonight, but it's still a good habit to get into, because like I said, you don't want to overwhelm them. So that's the two main reasons. Anyways, so yeah, there were a couple I heard in there. I heard well, when I asked who's here, I got you. It could be you as in Y-O-U, or it could be you as in H-U-G-H, like Hugh Jackman. Not entirely sure which yet. So let's get back to it. Alright. I'm back. So who's name? I hear a female. What's your name, honey? How many of you are there? Like every time I do this, I hear Ghost Wolf multiple times, and I just heard. Yes, I do. What's your name, sweetheart? Micah, is that your name? Yeah, I know. What's your name? Yeah, some ghost wolf, I'm here. I just heard hi. Hold on. Wow. I mean, there's a couple male voices in there that I can't. I'm having a hard time hearing them because they're speaking very thickly in the static. One sounds like it's got an accent, though, like Eastern European or something. Like, maybe Russian. But they're not super loud. So it's hard to make out. And then the female, who I think her name is Micah, which actually kind of fits with the Russian thing too, because it's actually a Russian name. She's coming across real clear, but not very often. And because of the other voices, it's hard to hear what she's saying. But a couple of things that I personally heard was I heard her, I think I heard her say the name Micah when I asked what her name was. And then I asked something else, I don't remember what, and then she said something like, I'm right here or something. But I may have heard that wrong. Like I said, it's when there's a lot of voices coming through at the same time. Oh, it would take someone like Becky to figure it out. Because I don't hear them like anywhere near the level that she does. Like she hears them the way that I see them. If that makes sense. Although I think I'm getting a little better. Alright, let's continue on. You still here? Micah, is that your name? Can you say that again, honey? Okay, so the reason I just paused that is I think there's a spirit here that isn't necessarily negative. Like I've stated before, nothing negative can come into my house. I prepared for that. I won't go into the whole thing, but I did a cleansing ritual and salted around my entire property, so they can't come in. Negative, I mean. And I actually did the same thing around the portal in my basement. So, yeah. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to come across spirits that are crazed or manic or being aggressive in the moment, because they're still technically good-natured spirit. They have some kind of issue going on, because they can be crazy just like people can a lot of the time. Not always. I've seen a lot of cases where I actually did a case at a lunatic asylum out in California years ago, and I had a really cool EVP session with the spirit, and this is back in the day when you had to do EVP with like mini cassettes, and she was really sweet, actually, but in life she was like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, you know what I'm saying? But very, very different in the afterlife. She was pretty much, I hate to use the word normal, but like she was in her right mind, or so it seemed. And I still remember her to this day. It was actually one of the. I mean, I didn't know it at the time because it's not like having the SV2 or the SV1, where you're hearing it in real time, at least not in my case. I didn't know until I played everything back, but she seemed really sweet. So, anyhow, there seems to be a male spirit that's kind of crazed or manic or whatever, because he's just, I can't make out everything he's saying, but I can tell that he's like ranting, if that makes sense. Just going a mile a minute, and it's really hard for anything else to come through. Clearly, I mean. So, yeah, I'm gonna pause for a little bit here and then turn it back on and see if we can't get some better responses. Alright, let's try again. Okay, this is a first. I've never had that response before. Not in 30 years of investigating the paranormal have I had the response I just got. I couldn't make out most of what he was saying, but he just said either I'm not real or I'm real. But it was like, I'm not real. You know, like making a statement rather than just a general sentence or whatever. So, just piecing that together, 'cause, you know, like making a statement rather than just a general sentence or whatever. So, just piecing that together, 'cause, you know, like making a statement rather than just a general sentence or whatever. So, just piecing that together, 'cause, you know, like making a statement rather than just a general sentence or whatever. So, I've heard about this. I've never actually experienced it before until maybe tonight, where, because just like there are closed-minded dumbasses in life, there's going to be closed-minded dumbasses in death too, because you can't change who you are on either side. You can make changes in your life for the better, but at the end of the day, you are who you are, and you should be proud of that and unashamed, unless you're, total douchebag or serial killer or some stupid shit. But if he's saying I'm not real, that could be because he was one of those, and not to be confused with a skeptic, by the way. He could have been one of those closed-minded people that doesn't believe in any of this stuff, even though they're in it, or on it, or however you want to put it. But I distinctly heard something like, I'm not real, or I'm real. I definitely heard the I'm real part. I'm just not sure about what was in the middle. So, yeah, continuing on. Okay, just to clarify, did you say I'm not real? Dictates that you are, in fact, real. You go, I just did something. Look, guys, I hate to break it to you, you're real. That's real. That's that ends that shit real quick. Here's one thing people will eventually learn about me, whether it's the living or those on the other side of life, as I like to term it. I don't put up with shit from anybody. Ever. Not because I'm Billy Badass, even though I kind of am. It's because of the fact that it's just not in my nature, number one. And number two, with all the shit I've been through in my life, I do not have time or patience for fucktards whose only sole purpose, it seems to be, is to drag me down. Whether they're living or dead, I don't care. You're not dragging me down. If you're not going to be here and be nice, then you're not going to be here. It's as simple as that. I will not tolerate it either way. And that's not just the alcohol talking, because I've only had a couple sips, for starters. But it is interesting. It seemed to intensify a bit when I took those sips, because, well, it's long been my theory that being inebriated or high or whatever while investigating opens you up. But the problem is that you get to a point where you have no control over how open you are, and you can't put up your defenses because you're not, technically speaking, in your right mind at that moment. So I don't do that, like, ever. Like, really, tonight is just me breaking the rules for my listeners, just to see what would happen. I will never do this again, just so we're clear. This is a one and done thing. Alright, my pack, my tribe, that's about all the time I have. Until next time, peace out.